Today, most NATO members openly say Ukraine should be a part of the mega defense alliance. The new NATO chief, Mark Rutte, has also said Ukraine's admission into the military bloc is one of his top priorities. But when meetings are held behind closed doors, the same NATO countries do not give a fuck about Kyiv, the people of Ukraine. The foreign minister of a NATO country has himself exposed this facade of the grouping. Peter Szijjártó, who is Hungary's foreign minister, said Tuesday that in private meetings, many bloc members have expressed concerns and opposition to Kyiv's demands to join. Szijjártó said the behavior of a significant part of NATO members has been extremely unfair to the people of Ukraine, given that the countries do not speak honestly about their real position. He also added that he conveyed the same to Ukraine Foreign Minister Andrei Sybiga in their recent meeting, so that he is aware about the reality on ground, even as Zelensky continues to build castles in the air. Szijjártó stated, "Last week I told the head of Ukraine Foreign Ministry, who was in Budapest, that I do not know what they are telling him, I do not know what they are trying to convince him of, but when we are alone behind closed doors, the majority of NATO states share the position that I just articulated." A lot of NATO countries and people have already started taking a neutral stance, by the way. Hungary is openly against Ukraine joining NATO. Slovakia PM Robert Fico has also vowed the same. Even Austria too has now elected a leader who is not known for peddling pro-Ukraine agenda. Even Germany's Olaf Scholz is begging for a phone call with Russian leader Vladimir Putin. But majority of NATO's 32 members still support Ukraine's bid for membership in public. Kyiv formally applied to join NATO in September 2 years back, citing the conflict with Russia. While many Western countries publicly back Ukraine's aspirations, they have refused to provide a concrete roadmap or timetable for accession. NATO is a US-led, US-funded bloc, and most NATO countries are just doing lip servicing on Ukraine just to keep Washington DC in good humor. In November elections, if Kamala Harris wins the presidency, NATO countries in Europe would stick to the same approach. But if Trump wins the polls, you can expect these countries to get rid of their pro-Ukraine facade and be publicly clear and honest about their position on Ukraine. Now, supporting Ukraine anyway does not make sense for more and more NATO countries now. Kyiv has failed to make any gains against Russia over the past months. Its Kursk offensive backfired miserably. Moscow reported this week that Kyiv has sacrificed more than 20,000 men on Russian soil alone over the past 2 months. And then Zelensky's so-called victory plan came as a last straw. The Americans and Western Europeans expected Kyiv to present them with a clear vision of a victory plan and a roadmap for achieving it. Instead, Zelensky brought a list of demands that the US and EU should fulfill. The demands, which looked more like a to-do list for the West and less like a victory plan, turned off NATO countries big time. So whatever pro-Ukraine narrative you see in the media, it is all facade. The support for Ukraine in EU and NATO is fabricated and manufactured by the US. It is not spontaneous.